December 2021. So we recommend that these funds are approved for spending so that the skilling project can move ahead. Vote 008, again, Minister of Finance. Madam Speaker and colleagues, aware that government has restructured the budgeting system from output-based budget to program-based budget. This therefore calls for upgrade and redesign of the integrated financial management system and also the program-based budgeting system to fit into the programmatic budget approach. IFMS requires 15 billion for the redesign and upgrade. PBS requires 10 billion for that upgrade. The committee therefore recommends approval of 25 billion for Minister of Finance to work out the upgrade and redesign of these two systems. Minister of Education and Sports, Mandela National Stadium. The committee recommends that 1.451 billion be approved for Mandela National Stadium to allow them meet outstanding staff costs, administrative costs, and operational costs. Vote 008, Minister of Health, face masks. The committee observed that during the period, Minister of Health received masks worth 85 billion, 831 million, 802,400. That is a quantity of 35,763,251 masks initially, which were distributed. However, the funds which were availed and paid were 54 billion 500 million, therefore leaving a balance of 31 billion 331 million 802,400 shillings. Later on, there are two districts which are not being masks distribution activity had not taken place yet. So a new order was made of 926,797 masks, coming to 2,224,312,800 shillings. So the outstanding debt for masks, therefore, comes to 33,556,115,200. So this is an amount that was found to be outstanding, and therefore the committee recommends approval of 33,556,115,200 shillings to Minister of Health to enable them pay for the face masks. Vote 112, Kampala Capital City Authority. The COVID funds, 60 million shillings. The committee recommends that this money be voted to enable Kampala Capital City Authority to spend that money. Petroleum Authority of Uganda requires 1.88 billion, which is external funded activity. They got that money from external funds, requiring them to train the medium scale companies to grow about 500 jobs. So we recommend that this money be approved to the Petroleum Authority, amounting 1.88 billion shillings. Madam Speaker, we also have under this addendum another schedule for COVID funds returned by members of parliament to the districts. There were 5 districts under this. We have vote 522, Katakwi district, 39,990,000. Vote 535, Mayuge district, 40 million shillings. Vote 603, Ngora district, 39,990,000. Vote 626, Kwanya district, 19,990,000. And vote 631, Rampara district, 19,990,000. So the committee recommends Parliament approves those funds to enable those local governments expend that money. Madam Speaker and colleagues, we again have a request for you gift funds. That is to cover local governments which had micro-scale irrigation developments, sub-grant, and health development grants, counterpart fund, also upgrade of health center 2s and health center 3s, and balances for city schools. That amounts to 23.14 billion. Honorable colleagues, at the closure of the financial year, these balances were lying in the accounts of these different local governments unspent, although work was ongoing, so the certificates are not being ready. So this money was swept back to the consolidated fund. So it deems fit that we approve these funds so that the funds are returned to the local government for them to clear their bills. So, Madam Speaker, permit me not read the details because this one will take us a very long time. Health centers, schools, and irrigation development projects. They are handled under Table 6, 7, 8, and Table 9. Madam Speaker, I move straight to vote 1.6, Minister of Works and Transport. Minister of under Uganda Railway. The Uganda Railway Corporation has of late worked on the rehabilitation of the route from Malaba to Kampala. And under the COVID arrangement to reduce the traffic at the border point of trucks, government therefore mandated the Railway Corporation to acquire new locomotives so that most of the goods are ferried by train. The railway therefore sourced for supply of this locomotive and assigned a contract with a company called GPR Leasing Africa for locomotives and another company for supply of rich stackers. Madam Speaker, Uganda Rail Corporation analyzed scenarios where they could either procure new locomotives or 20-year-old or 6-year-old locomotives. The financial analysis showed that the net present value and return on investment would be more feasible if they procure the second-hand 6-year-old locomotives. So, Madam Speaker, the contract requires that before delivery, we make a payment of 31.2 billion shillings. But as per the available funds under this schedule, the committee recommends that we approve 11.5 billion shillings to Minister of Works for payment for initial deposit for the locomotives. The balance of 19.7, which is required within 1 month time, Minister of Finance therefore directed to source for these funds and bring another schedule for allocation of this money. Madam Speaker, we move to Addendum 2 of Schedule 4. Again, we have Ministry of Health, but this is good news, right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues. The coronavirus vaccine. Ministry of Health has negotiated with the AstraZeneca vaccines company from India, they call it the Serum Institute of India, to supply Uganda with the COVID vaccines. It's believed, the price is available. The price per dose, the purchase price, freight, and all handling total comes to US dollars 8.46 per dose. And every person has to take 2 doses. So per person, it comes to 16.92 US dollars. The Ministry of Health communicated need for 18 million doses. That would cover 9 million people. But for the start, the agreement is that we make a commitment payment of 5 million US dollars so that the manufacture is done, and we expect deliveries beginning of the month of March if we meet the payment schedule that the supplier will give us. So, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the committee recommends, therefore, Parliament quickly approves the 18.5 billion shillings to Ministry of Health to allow the ministry make a commitment fee payment of 5 million US dollars to Serum Institute so that we get the vaccine. However, Minister of Finance is therefore directed also to quickly bring a request for more funding, because this totals to 161,567,118 US dollars. So we are only making a commitment payment of $5 million. Minister of Finance is here, is right here listening. Madam Speaker, next is vote Electoral Commission. Electoral Commission, colleagues are aware, government went into a contract with a supplier for a biometric voter verification system. This system was not provided for in the budget. So it was at a total cost of 93,762,000,000 Uganda shillings. Government made a payment of 50 billion shillings, and as such the contract has a balance of 43.762 billion shillings to the contractor. So they request we approve that money. The next problem with the Electoral Commission is government created new parliamentary constituencies, new local governments, which required reorganizations, new town councils, new cities, and all this required Electoral Commission to readjust their funds to enable them conduct these elections. These elections have been conducted, but at a cost. Also, election of the 5 older persons was conducted at around 1 billion shillings, but the Electoral Commission had to engineer their resources within. That meant front-loading the monies and pay monies which they would have paid other activities like payment of the supervisors of the elections, gazetting of the results of election, which is not done, gazetting of the winners of the elections, and also collection of election materials from the field. They have not been able to do that. They will only do that when these funds are approved to them. The committee therefore recommends that a total of 55.023 billion be approved for Electoral Commission to continue to handle all the activities. Vote Uganda National Examinations Board. Madam Speaker and colleagues, aware that exams for Senior 4, Senior 6 and P7 are going to be conducted from March, but under the acceptable SOPs. It therefore means UNEB is going to incur additional costs as far as renting space, increase the number of supervisors, washing machines, the sanitizers, masks, and so on. We therefore recommend approval of 10,465 million to Uganda National Examinations Board to enable them conduct the examinations for those classes without violating the SOPs. Madam Speaker, again under this addendum, there are gift funds for some local governments to cater for the upgrade of health center tools, and also Alebtongo district for the balance of monies for Seed Secondary School at Abia. Sironko district, Mutufu, and Budege Health Center tools upgrade. Alebtong also for Away and Angeta Health Center to upgrade. Mubende for Rwemikomago Health Center to upgrade, and Serere District for Arapo and Kagwara Health Center to upgrades. So, Madam Speaker, we recommend that those funds also be voted to enable those local governments to pay the outstanding bills. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I request that the House considers the committee's recommendations and approve supplementary expenditure under Schedule 4, including the two addenda, that is 1 and 2. I beg, Madam Speaker, that I lay the minutes and the copy of the report for our Hansard. Madam Speaker, the next is the schedule for supply. I beg to move. I beg to move.
Okay. Thank you. This is the first one.
The first one, we have 10 members who signed.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wrote this for booking.
Okay. Okay.
It seems we need a committee of supply.
Yes.
Because we have the schedule school for each board. Unfortunately, we combine development and the current. So we are
It's answer the recurrent.
To start with the recurrent and then development. Starting from here. So this is for the schedule. The votes, then the development. The people combined them.
Okay. Have you? Okay. So now members, you've had the report and it has been signed by the necessary members of the committee. I just have one question. On page 8 on the issue of ambulances, I would just want confirmation that the islands have got what ambulances. I don't know whether these are to be used on the road or even in the islands. Are there what ambulances here? Are they part of this?
Madam Speaker, the request from Minister of Health. Madam Speaker, the plan for Minister of Health was to procure pickups, 282 pickups. But the Committee on Interacting with the Minister found that it was better they procure ambulances for all districts. Now, Madam Speaker, it depends on how the ambulances are to be procured, the implementation stage. Possibly this House can direct the Ministry to provide also for the islands, since it's also urgent that the water ambulances are also a big requirement as of now. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable members. It has been a demand in this House that the Minister of Health provides water ambulances for those areas. Yes, Honourable Senyonga.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the problem we have is always to consider issues on implementation. Honourable Speaker, there is no way you can say they are planning to buy pickups or ambulances for 254 districts, and then you think later on when it comes to implementation, they will consider the islands. Honourable Speaker, it has been long overdue. This issue is coming on, and it's always been extended from time to time. So, Honourable Speaker, if this is the only chance to consider the islanders, let the islands also be considered.
Yes, Honourable.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Speaker. The information I want to give the Honourable Member is that as even when you talk about ambulances, even as our islanders must be very careful. This minister has never bought ambulances which are double cabin pickups. So the specification must be known ab initio. So if they are ambulances and if they are for islanders, what type? If they are for people on islands, are they going to be special boats that have all those conditions that they? But there are so many ambulances that we are bought, Madam Speaker, by the same ministry when we are double cabin vehicles.
No, I want us, don't lose the issue of the water. I'm asking, has the ministry provided for the boat ambulances for the islands? That's what I want to hear.
Yes, very Honourable Speaker, why I'm emphasizing that point, we had a request to the committee and they promised that let come what may in this financial year, the ambulance boats will be provided for the islanders. But as we talk now, they are talking of ambulances, much as they are going to change from pickups to these smaller buses, but those are not considering the islanders. So I want to agree with you, Honourable Speaker, that will be considered this time.
Also, now members, we don't have 282 districts. We don't have 282 districts. Yes, Honorable Gwal.
Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the fact that we are in a state of pandemic and therefore the situation may get worse. And because of that, each and every district must have an ambulance because there has been an outcry. So that issue would be resolved. If there is anything over and above that, then we can probably take care of other areas where we don't have enough, like the islanders, for example, if they require special specification.
Honourable members,
but
I
as
think
for now,
you have not understood the situation of the islands. They don't want the motor vehicle they want the boat ambulances. If you are going to take patients in Karangara, you need the boat ambulance. You can't drive on that water. That's what we are talking about. And where is the minister? No, it must be clear. We are not going to leave it to the ministry. If there is money, the islanders must get their boats.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think you're spot on. We seem not to be understanding the argument you're presenting. Some people may not be. Madam Speaker, what you are saying, whereas the provision for ambulances is considered for every district, which I think the island district can also get the ambulances. But movement from the island on water to the mainland is what the Speaker is emphasizing. And that is what we thought the budget should consider. The ambulances can remain in Buvuma, it will move there, but let's have the second one which will connect Buvuma to Kampala via Mukono. And I think that is what we are talking about. So there should be a budget for that, including the one at the district. Madam Speaker, we needed this yesterday, because the other day I also had a problem where some relatives of mine across the islands were not able to be moved to the mainland, and someone lost life. Just the connection. So that must be considered, and how I wish the revision of revising the pickups to the ambulances should also include now the water ambulances to move them to the mainland. Thank you very much.
Information. Madam Speaker, the water ambulances is a crucial matter and I support. But consideration also should be made for those hard to reach areas, because I know islands are part of the hard to reach areas. But how about those of us who come from highlands, mountainous areas? In fact, we need to give also due consideration for this. There are also ambulances, aircrafts, these small ones, which could help reach, actually access those places which are not accessible by these vehicle double cabins for purposes of giving due consideration to all parts of Uganda which are hard to reach. I so beg.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And honorable colleagues, I think whereas the chair of the Committee of Budget presented the procurement of 288 ambulances, it's very imperative that at this stage we take consideration among the 288, because in the previous communication they were saying at least each district should have a means of transport reflective of an ambulance. Now that we are budgeting for 288, I think the interests of the island should be top on the agenda. And Madam Speaker, it should not necessarily be that we want an ambulance. We want a means of transport. Because, for example, in an island, you may not put there an ambulance which you will put in Kampala, for example. And then, when we are also considering these ambulances, we need to look at the possibilities of those ambulances being able to help the people. I think that should be even reflective on the budget, because what I know is that government has procured health ambulances, and these ambulances do not serve the interests of the people. You find that these ambulances are left to get spoiled at the district headquarters or at the health centers. That's why that MPs end up being actually donors for ambulances. So when we approve this budget, the supplementary for the 288 ambulances, let us look at the interests of all Ugandans. One, those in the hard-to-reach areas, those in the islands, and those ambulances must not necessarily, it can be a pickup, but if it is working as an ambulance, it's good enough. Because some of these ambulances that are procured by government are very they are not cost effective. So you find that it's not working for the interest of the people. So let's pass this budget, but look at an area per area, and the Minister of Health should have a modus operandi on how these ambulances can operate, not just procuring vehicles to be parked at the district. Clarification.
Where is the Minister of Health anyway? Okay, Kilak and then Gutomoi. Then Timusigu.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to be clarified. When we decide to now buy ambulances instead of pickups for the local government, are these going to be the same vehicles which we shall therefore name them ambulances? Because if we are going to buy trucks and you talk of ambulances, has the committee realized that the prices are the same? And therefore, when you come to the issue of the islanders, because the price for these motor ambulances for the islanders may be different. Now, what actually are the criteria and then the consideration made to name these trucks ambulances? Because on many occasions, we had bought small vehicles and then named them ambulances. We have brought trucks and then named them ambulances. But the real meaning of ambulances have been abused. I don't know. So may it be clarified to us what type of trucks or what type of ambulances are going to be procured. Thank you.
Honorable Akol, then Honorable Timuzigu. Then somebody from the government should really answer.
Madam Speaker, let me first of all thank the decision made by the Budget Committee to divert from buying the pickups and other vehicles for the district to the ambulances. Madam Speaker, I believe that as a country we have specification for the ambulances. I don't think it is right for us to keep thinking about what kind of ambulance is going to be bought, because the specification of what is an ambulance is there. Our issue, which is important now, is that at policy level, where we are now, we should give recommendation that there must be the motorboat used for ambulances for those who are in the island. That is all. Because in the absence of the Minister of Health, we are going to keep talking here, will not come out with a conclusion. But we have to recommend that they must buy the motorboat ambulances for those who are in the island. That is it. Otherwise, we are taking a lot of time discussing the same thing when I know there is specification is what should be called ambulance in Uganda. Thank you.
Honorable Timuzigu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I take this opportunity to thank the chairperson of the committee and the entire committee, plus the ministry, for bringing this supplementary budget. My point, Madam Speaker, is about your communication on Tuesday last week, which concerned the supplementary budget concerning the payment of MOB's lecturers.
No, please.
Yes.
Can we finish with what has been presented first?
The votes? Okay. Okay, let's go back to... Now, let me talk about another thing, but I thought it was your direction that they bring it in this supplementary budget such that those people can be paid, because it has taken so long since they were promised in December 2019. And maybe if it is coming in another way, let me go to the compensation of tobacco farmers, Madam Speaker, which was part of this report.
Let's close the issue of the ambulance. Honourable Minister of Finance.
Okay.
Let's close the issue of the ambulance.
Madam, I beg that you give me another chance.
I will.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I think the Shadow Minister for Finance has simplified our work. because originally the Ministry of Health, this is money which we have got from the donations from the public. The Ministry of Health was guided by the National Task Force to purchase, use the money that we collected from the public, that was donated by the public, to buy pickups and also build 2 border health posts and construct phase 1 of the blood bank at Soroti and Arua as directed by His Excellency President. Now, in the wisdom of the committee, they have said instead of buying pickups, do buy ambulances. And it's my understanding that the ambulances you are referring to are ambulances of the standard that's accepted by the Minister of Health. But also in addition, the House is suggesting and recommending a recommendation that we shall take seriously, that ambulances should include both ambulances. So we are going to go back in areas which we need both ambulances, we shall buy ambulances instead of motor ambulances. And I thought that the Shadow Minister for Finance had actually done my work. What we now require would be to get a firm recommendation from this House, and we shall implement that recommendation. And I want to confirm that once that recommendation is adopted by this House, Executive will... On which one now? Okay.
Thank you, Honourable Minister and Honourable Speaker. I think, Honourable Minister, as you submit, also clear the air on the issue of 282 districts. Because once you leave it as it is, we shall end up finding some districts benefiting better than the other.
No, I think Honourable Gwar explained that as a member of the Budget Committee.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and also, Madam Speaker, the 282 were pickups for local governments. We are not districts. They are pickups for local governments. So in other words, in some districts, we could have more than one. I thank you. Madam Speaker, I have finished my submission. Thank you.
Can the Chair of Budget please formulate a recommendation? Someone formulate an amendment to the recommendation of the committee in relation to the boat ambulances.
Madam Speaker,
yes, Honourable Muhumuza.
Madam Speaker, even when the minister has gone, I want to clarify that we are not buying only boat ambulances for the island districts. For the island districts, we need 2, the vehicle ambulance and the boat ambulance. For instance, if you go to Karangara, Karangara has 86 islands, but 56 islands are inhabited. But vehicles only go to the main island. So the main island will need the vehicle ambulance. Then the other islands will need the boat ambulance to get the patients from the islands to the main island. Then they can use the vehicle ambulance to the rest of the country. I just wanted to get that clarification clear.
Can our chair please formulate a recommendation along those lines?
I wanted to make this clarification.
Let's finish the minister first. No, let's finish with the health first. Then we shall touch the other issues.
Madam Speaker, I do appreciate the former member who was holding the floor, that when we are buying these ambulances, where we need both ambulances, we shall go for both ambulances alone. Where we need both motor and boat, we shall also do that. But the understanding of this recommendation is that we are giving the Minister of Health to rationalize the resources that we are appropriating, which is 34 billion, to cater for these ambulances. And given the price, depending on the price that is prevailing and the standards. So when we make a decision, we shall, I think, come back to the House and inform you where we have gone, just in case the resources might not be enough to buy all ambulances at a go. So we shall come back to the House and say This is what we have used, we are both using the resources available. Thank you.
So anyway, let's wait for the formulation. Other comments on other areas? Tobacco? There was something on tobacco, Timzigu, and then I come back to you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm sorry because I had gone to tobacco before the ambulance issue was over. But, Madam Speaker, I do appreciate the committee bringing this report concerning the payment of tobacco farmers. Madam Speaker, being a member of the Tourism and Industry Committee, I know the issues of tobacco farmers, and I'm happy that they are going to be paid. But Madam Speaker, I need clarification from the ministry about how the investors are going to pay back that money, because they bought and sold that tobacco. Those investors bought the tobacco from our farmers, they sold the tobacco, so they have got the money. Though maybe they have got other challenges, maybe they got financial distress, but they have the money. So I want clarification, Madam Speaker. I pray that I get clarification from the ministry or even the chairperson about how those people are going to pay back to government. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I want you to allow me to ask whether the supplementary budget concerning the payment of mobs lecturers, which was supposed to be on the vote of the Ministry of Public Service, whether it is being prepared. Because, Madam Speaker, last week, you directed that the ministry brings here a response concerning that same matter. Because these people were promised in 2019, that is December on 26th, by the President and the First Lady and the Minister for Public Service was there. Their amount is 4.92 billion, which can be included, and those people get their salaries. Madam Speaker, we need to observe that Makerere University ranking has been going down. In about 4 years now, our ranking is really not the best. So if we do not consider those lecturers, when we expect even to export education and get foreign exchange, then we are in trouble. So, Madam Speaker, I beg that you put in you guide us, you guide the House, you guide the House on how this money can be got, such that these people can be paid. Lastly, Madam Speaker, allow me to talk about the money for Electoral Commission, which they're asking that we pass in form of a supplementary budget. Already, some people have been suspended that the allowances are not there, and they know they are not going to get the allowances. So if the allowances were reallocated for something else, Madam Speaker, we want to know in the future from the ministry concerned whether those people were paid the allowances after us as Parliament passing the supplementary budget. Because as I speak, some people know that they are not going to be paid, and their money might exchange hands somewhere else when we have passed a supplementary budget. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, concerning the money for the MOBs, I had instructed the Minister of Finance to work expeditiously, lay the supplementary so that it could be considered together with this report. But I don't think I've seen it yet. I've not seen it yet. Yes. Sabagara, Nandara. Tobacco? Okay, okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm going to raise 3 issues. One, the supplementary for the Land Commission. Madam Speaker, it's good that the people in Buyaga are going to be paid, but we'd like to know, because we have the land fund, how the land fund has been used to really compensate even those in other areas, because you have many people in many parts of this country who are not compensated. We would like to know whether the 12 billion is only for Buyaga, and then the other plan for other areas that are not that have the similar challenges of compensation. 2, Madam Speaker, is about Lusanja compensation, Madam Speaker. That we are going to compensate Mr. Chichoncho approximately 4 billion. Madam Speaker, for the land that the squatters are not really evicted. Madam Speaker, we want some specifications, because compensating Mr. Chichoncho 4 billion, approximately 4 billion, what are we going to leave for the people of Rusanja? Because is this compensation going to even include giving land titles to the people who have been affected, those who are being evicted? Are they going to be given land titles, or they are not going to be given land titles, just a matter of compensating Mr. Chichoncho? That should be very clear, because they must have the ownership when government has compensated Mr. Chichoncho. Finally, Madam Speaker, we have talked about the 1.4 billion for Nambole Stadium. Madam Speaker, this is going to be just used for operational costs. But as we speak now, we know that Nambole is not in a good state altogether. And even the management of CAF talked about the standards of Nambole Stadium. Why are we not looking at even the improvement or modernization of Nambole Stadium, not looking at only the operational costs? Because we know.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I would not agree with any money you give to Nambole. In the Committee of Park, we investigated this. Nambole is already shared by some people. It is not meeting any funds. And we have been asking who is in charge of Nambole. The answer is negative. Nambole has a hotel which is managed by, I'm told, by Honorable Mukula, Mike, and the people are stealing money, yet they are making money out of it. We have asked for the income that has been generated from Nambole through the Balokole people with their prayers, the political parties who have been organizing their meetings there. Nambole became a money-generating venture for some people. Finance does not get anything. We need an audit from there to know where the money goes before you give it any money. Otherwise, there is a lot of theft in Nambole. And the park was questioning that. They could not give us an answer. Now, when you give them a supplementary, you are giving them something to feast on.
Madam Speaker, we all know that the cardinal objective for Nambole Stadium is for sports. And we know that in as far as sports is concerned, we have only one national stadium. And if it has been used for other activities, then we must put it right, so that we don't really face challenges when it comes to hosting international matches, Madam Speaker. Finally, Madam Speaker, masks. When we talk about 85 billion for masks, Madam Speaker, we are crying, because we have seen the quality of these masks. We have seen that many Ugandans were not given proper masks. And up to now, those masks were like disposable masks. Right now, Madam Speaker, you can hardly find any Ugandan putting on a Yugi mask, because they were of poor quality and they could not last long, Madam Speaker. And when we talk about the 2 billion for 2 districts, that these are the districts that did not receive masks, Madam Speaker, even here in Kampala, there are very few who received, and those who received, the quality was very, very poor. Madam Speaker, I don't think that at this time we must go in.
Thank you, colleague, for giving way. Right Honourable Speaker, it was this Parliament on 28th June 2020, we passed 89 billion for MASICs, and the same Parliament on October 2nd, 2020, we passed 30 billion for MASICs. Right Honourable Speaker, that totals to 119 billion for MASICs. Right Honourable Speaker, when you look at now the new demand for another 33.5 billion, again, it makes Ugandans to wonder whether in each house we have over 50 masks. Whereas in many villages, including nearby Mukono here, very few people were able to access the masks. Right, Honorable Speaker, there is a lot that needs this House to look into the issue of masks, as we are going to look into the issue of the vaccine compared to the price they are giving us to that of Kenya and Tanzania. If given time, Honorable Speaker, I'm going to Google and come with a figure of Kenya and that of Tanzania. I thank you.
Madam Speaker, as I wind up, Madam Speaker, the issue of masks, Madam Speaker, the additional supplementary that they need of 33 billion, Madam Speaker, unless there is an audit in as far as these masks are concerned, I don't think we can be in position to really allow the government to spend more 33 billion when the accountability for what has been given is not convincing, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, during our campaigns, I think I found that in my community, probably only a quarter of the people had masks. I kept on supplying masks throughout the campaign. Honourable
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I hope Honorable Bahati is listening. From the money, we must, I think, thank COVID, because without COVID, we would not have raised 34.6 billion shillings to buy ambulances. That means our country is only for donations and there is no planning. And this is very serious for a whole serious government not to plan for health sector and wait for donations so that they can do this. And Madam Speaker, I want to tell Honorable Bahati that under the law, ambulances are exempt from taxes. So it means this money you have, if you are going to buy, even if you wanted to buy pickups, you would buy even more than 282 pickups. Now, do you really like Uganda? Even if you went for ambulances which are exempt from taxes, you will buy more than 282. Now, Madam Speaker, when you tell them that you read adjust and you go and buy ambulances, because they will say Parliament directed ambulances, they are going to come with a price which is far higher. And they say, instead of 282 pickups, we got only 130 ambulances. I'm just giving an example. So I think as Parliament, this time since there was a donation which we are going to appropriate, we should seriously get interested to know these prices of ambulances and remember they are tax exempt. Madam Speaker, if you look at Nambole, land has been shared, but we have a hotel. And one of the person who signed for the hotel is called Mukura. Michael, the chairman of the NRM Eastern Region. Madam Speaker, for the entire now coming 6 years, he has never paid even 1 shilling for rent. And if we decided to enforce rent only, you don't need to appropriate this 1.4 billion. The money total now is over 7 billion. So why don't we, as Parliament, say no, let us collect our rent, and the Nambole is operated, and the swimming pool. And I think, Madam Speaker, this we should take it as a serious issue to deal with. Madam Speaker, again, on the issue of masks, if you read under total, they say the total cost of masks delivered is 85.8 billion. But the money we appropriated is 119 billion. So before we add more money, where is the balance?
Madam Speaker, where is the balance? We must get the balance first. This business of running the budget committee, running very fast, I don't know why. Why don't, you are the one who brought here 89. You brought the 30. Total 119. And they check you an accountant. 119 is not equal to 85. So why didn't you first subtract and get us balance? Madam Speaker, we have found at the end of the day says eyes have it. But these are serious issues. If we pass this 33 billion before they account for the balance, maybe let me subtract for you, Madam Speaker. It is already, the difference is 34 billion, which is more than the 33 billion they're asking for. So how do we go and appropriate more money, yet the one who appropriated has not been consumed? So which account is it, Shaggy? Tell us. Madam Speaker, you see, sometimes we need to take things for granted, but it's very dangerous for this country. Now I want to go to the church which was destroyed, and Rosange. Madam Speaker, somebody broke a church, and is going to be paid 3.8 billion. We need people of Uganda to understand. Because they were saying it was Salim Saleh. Is it the one whom they are paying 3.8 billion? Or they are paying the church? Or they are paying the person whom they took to church? Court. Oh, okay, thank you. I'll take it.
Right now, Speaker. I want to thank my chairman for the committee and Madam Speaker for allowing me to give this information. At least I'm one of the witnesses in this matter who sat with the minister on a radio program. On a Saturday, I said, Madam Minister for Lands, let us go to that place and find out who put policemen to guard that church before it was broken, demolished. And when I said that on the radio, the person who had placed them removed everybody. Though the minister never went there. There was room to stop that church from being demolished. But still, the government forces gave room to those who demolished the church. Now, we cannot turn around so fast like this, that we are going to give that church money. Who has valued that land, the value of the church? Where is that report that's going to determine that money is going to be paid out? So we are giving money out. People are recovering money for their election expenses, I think. I'm worried. But that one is not fair. A court should conclude that matter, and the person who broke that church should be brought to book before Parliament and the government comes in. Because the police was guarding and the army that church until it was demolished. The minister is there, let her deny whether we never sat together on radio to guard. I asked her, you can't keep that church together, find out who placed police there to guard the church. And it was demolished at night. This is we are going for negatory expenditures before getting good reports and the conclusive reports about these people. It is very dangerous.
So, Madam Speaker, it is very interesting. So we need to find out what is this compulsory acquisition, who is really the beneficiary of the breakage and who is going to get. So, and Madam Speaker, I am a Christian and a Muslim, but despite all that, I don't want us to use the churches, the mosques to steal public funds. Rusanji, I think my brother has talked about it, but also need to find out who is going to benefit in Rusanji. Now, Madam Speaker, I go to Electoral Commission. I think Electoral Commission has taken this country for a ride. Whenever they want money, they come in plenty. But let us start with the biometric voter verification system. Now, Madam Speaker, these things never function, but let us put the figures. There are 43.76 billion. Initially, they had some, they added some. But let us assume they bought new ones. Now, the new ones are each polling station is one. Now, there are 34,000 polling stations. But for simplicity, they brought even those which may not non-function. Well, let us say 40,000. So, Madam Speaker, if you get 43.76 billion divided by 40,000, it is telling me that each machine, that poor machine, which you saw, will be going for 1.2 million shillings. Even a laptop, which is basic, cannot make 1.2 million. Are you telling me that machine is more than a laptop in the price? Is it more than this Android iPhones? Because, Madam Speaker, this clearly shows the theft in Uganda Electoral Commission. And because of this theft...
Thank you very much, Honorable, for giving way. The information, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to give with relation to the EC machines is to the effect that, Right Honourable Speaker, those machines, the BVVK machines, don't actually capture data. If you want to know how many people have voted through that system, that data is not there. And when we asked for it in the Supreme Court in 2016, the then chairperson of the Electoral Commission said the machines they have cannot capture data. And the same problem exists with the present machines. So even their use of trying to avoid multiple voting is virtually not there. That's the information I wanted to give.
So, Madam Speaker, we want to assume that they never bought the 40,000 because they had the old ones, they just added. Now, assuming they were adding 10,000, because I want to run numbers before we do the appropriation, it means each of them, that poor one, is going for 4.3 million. 4.3, if we remove, assume the 20, they just added 10,000. So, Madam Speaker, for me, I feel bad that people use the parliament because they want to steal. And I remember the candidate of NRM saying after winning, he said, I'm going to deal with budgets. I don't know if he has looked at this supplementary budget. Because if he has looked at it, this biometric system, which we are talking about of Yamukama, how many did he buy at what price? I want to give you a vivid example. In the local council 5 elections, there is a polling station near one of these man who was here called the Chivale. There are 530 voters. Of those, it's at a health center. That health center has recorded 25 deaths since the time of registration. 25. Those who died from the health center. But there are those who died from home. But the total number of voters on that day using the biometric system of Yamukama said the total voters were 516 plus those who cast invalid one, 8. That means that is 524 plus the 21 who died from the health center is 542. That means it's already beyond the number. That biometric system must have got some thumbprints of the date to be voters. And that clearly shows that this biometric system we're buying, is it really a biometric system or it is being used for theft? So, Madam Speaker, having put all those, it clearly shows that we want to appropriate money to Electoral Commission for stealing. They removed the Rakojo saying he was a thief. But these ones who have come might be even worse thieves than Rakojo, because if you can take 55 billion in the shortest time possible, then that's very dangerous. Madam Speaker, demarcations. Don't worry, I'm going to give you space. You know, demarcations. And Madam Speaker, you should get interested into this budget because it is going to exonerate us. We came and did the agreed here that was running constituencies here. Now they are going back, they are bringing a bill of 2.8 billion, 7.3. We asked the Electoral Commission, do you have? The man said they don't have. So how are you going to do it? We asked them, is there a tribunal? Because when you are going to demarcate this country, there must be a tribunal appointed by the Chief Justice. It was never there, they have never responded. So they have never done the demarcations. So why? They are using the local council, what they produce and whatever, and they are now giving us a total budget of 2.8 7.3 plus 1 point something, which is about 12 billion. These are thieves. Madam Speaker, they have never gone to the ground to do demarcations of 12 billion. This was done by local councils, just bringing in that this sub-county is being added to this to form a county, and here it is. This is, Madam Speaker, are we really being fair? So this Electoral Commission, Madam Speaker, I can tell you, I and Andala, if we agreed, we should not accept this 55 billion, and Operator Shagi must explain to us. We thought you were good motor for my homeland, but it looks this report, you are becoming spoiled, and at this point we must deal with it here.
They bought 2,000 units.
Finally, Madam Speaker,
They bought 2,000, the 3,000 were hired.
Where's the order?
Order for what?
Where's the point of order?
Okay, you do your order, I'm waiting.
Yes, Honorable Mbwa.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker.
Order, members.
My concern is the money for the Uganda Land Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, it's good we are going to make a supplementary for Uganda Land Commission. But, Right Honorable Speaker, there are so many people who are demanding their money over 1.1 trillion in Uganda Land Commission.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. The order has passed. There was no order. So I want to conclude, my brother, so that you can deal with this. Madam Speaker, having spoken all those words, and I've stated everything, I want to request, Madam Speaker, that at the time of appropriation, give us an opportunity to deal with this budget and open it up to scrutiny. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay. I think Honorable and then we shall hear from the Honorable Siagi, Trade, and the Minister for Lands. Okay.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I wish to comment on the money, on the supplementary proposed for Uganda Land Commission. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, it's true, and I believe we should make a supplementary for Uganda Land Commission because there are so many people demanding their money. But Right Honorable Speaker, it is not fair. Only people with godfathers in Ministry of Finance, in Bunyoro, everywhere, that they are only making a supplementary for a few people. Right Honorable Speaker, my proposal is the proposed supplementary should go to Uganda Land Commission, but it should be Uganda Land Commission under the stewardship of Honorable Biencha to allocate that money to different people. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, if you go to Uganda Land Commission, you will find people who are still demanding their money, and right off from 2003, very old people, very poor people, but at this time, they want to compensate rich people, leaving out people without godfathers and mothers. So, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, we have people from Kamuri who are demanding their money. We have people from Mubende everywhere. So, let's put this money to Uganda Land Commission. Actually, we can even bring more supplementary, Right Honorable Speaker, because they are demanding, Ugandans are demanding over 1.1 trillion, and men are dying without testing on their money. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, is the money for buying masks. My proposal is, why shouldn't we think about converting this money to buying vaccines, more vaccines, such that more Ugandans can benefit, probably, maybe the nursery children, such that they can even go back to school. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Siagi? Trade? Okay. Tobacco?
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm very happy that finally the people of Bunyoro generally cry out for non-payment for tobacco money has been, at least a portion has been assigned. Up to the eve of elections, people in Munyoro were calling me on that money. My only worry is that we did estimate, we never did a thorough investigation. So I would hope that the Ministry of Trade will do a thorough investigation, receipt per receipt, because there are people who are demanding only 500,000, but they're very emotional. And there are those who are demanding for millions. So these small people must be looked at. We thank the members of parliament who brought the petition and brought to your office. We did an investigation, yes?
Thank you, Honorable, for giving way. Madam Speaker, thank you once again. The issue of tobacco farmers is not only for the Bunyoro region, but also West Nile, because the West Nile people presented petitions over petitions. We have been in the Ministry of Trade several times, but I don't see them here among the people who are supposed to be compensated. Even during campaigns, people were calling us, and at one moment, somebody circulated rumors that money was already allocated. Now, with this supplementary, expect a situation of anxiety in West Nile, because I don't see West Nile here. So, Honorable Kasule, I think it's important that you comment on the situation of the people of West Nile as we discuss this supplementary.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member. That's what I said, we only estimated, and there are many other areas that were not included, like West Nile. So I propose that this is the first batch. I hope Parliament shall agree that next time they will pay this time they will pay the people of Nyoro, and then next time, and very recent, they should look at the plight of the people from West Nile. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and my chairman of PAC, please, much as we have debated here, we need you to do a greater job on the masks and other things that have been debated here. Thank you.
I hope the Minister of Trade will tell us how the tobacco companies will reimburse the money of the government. Minister of Trade and then Minister of Lands. How will the companies refund this money which we are paying?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. On the issue of tobacco, we carried out a survey. We sent out a team comprising of the Ministry of Trade, some officials from the respective areas, and Minister of Agriculture, and the local leaders. But Bunyoro is the one which completed its report earlier. So we phased out the payments, and so we're starting with Bunyoro this time, and in the first quarter, we'll be able to cover the other areas. Our survey was interrupted by COVID, and we had to recall the teams that had gone out. But I'd like to commit that we'll be able to do that. On the issue of payments to, maybe my Minister of Finance will help me with the payments to the companies. Can you come on through the speaker?
Yes, Honorable Timusi wanted to know how the companies are going to refund this money which we are paying to the farmers.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is true that the outcry of the people of Bunyoro and West Nile necessitated government to come in and help them. And once this money is paid, we are making an MOU to ensure that the companies, the two companies that were supposed to pay the farmers, pay this money to government. So, but as we speak, we are coming in to help the struggling farmers as we wait to do an MOU, and the two companies will have to refund this money. On the issue of, just a second, on the issue of Nambole, Madam Speaker, we are handling, when I was saying, we are handling a gazetted area which was taken over by the Ministry of Health to admit people and treat them from there. This is the only limited area that we are talking about. When we took it over as Minister of Health, then the Nambole management could not raise the resources to pay the bills for that specific area, including salaries. But on the other issues, Madam Speaker, regarding Honorable Mukura, the State Minister for Sports is here. He can talk about the broader issues of Nambole, but this particular one is as a result of Minister of Health taking over Nambole Stadium to administer people's... Yes,
clarification. Well, thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague for yielding the floor. If I understood you correctly, you did say that you want this House to approve this payment regarding the tobacco farmers, and thereafter you reach a memorandum of understanding with the companies. The government is paying somebody's debt without an agreement. You first make an agreement, the conditions under which you are paying out this debt, before we approve this money. Because you see, once you've already paid somebody's debt, how sure are you that actually the person whose debt you have paid will agree with you to pay you back and even comply? The first thing is, before we pay your debt, make an agreement. I don't know what your Solicitor General advised you. May I therefore ask, is this the advice of the Office of the Attorney General, that you pay out the money to the farmers and thereafter you reach an understanding with the private companies whose debts you've paid?
Further clarification?
Which clarification?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Minister. Madam Speaker, at least I attended the Committee of Health, though I'm not a member. And Madam Speaker, Minister of Health has already done some renovations in the areas they took, and they have been spending money. There is no need for 1.4 billion. Now, I don't understand what money the minister is saying that they are going to cater for in that particular area, yet the ministry has already done renovations in those particular areas, and they have been paying. Before they took over, they are paying. So we are not saying this in a bad spirit. We know what we are saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the issue of Honorable Katuntu, first I want to congratulate him for the passing the elections on an independent ticket. I wish you could have joined the mighty party. Now, the issue of how we are handling this, Madam Speaker, it is a concurrent process. There is an engagement with the companies. At the same time, the farmers are crying. We have come in to help the farmers, but we have confidence and assurance that these resources will be paid by the company. On the issue of Nambole, I want to request, with your permission, the Minister of State for Sports. He will be able to give more details, but I can assure you, Honorable Seungu, that the Minister of Health took over Nambole Stadium to use it as an isolation center. This has implications in terms of the revenue that Nambole has been getting, in terms of facilitating the staff of Nambole, in terms of paying the bills for Nambole. And the Minister of Sports can give more information to this House. So, Minister of Sports.
Right Honourable Speaker, I'm at pain raising a point of order to a senior member of this House. Right Honourable Speaker, I don't know whether the Minister is going to continue camouflaging, as a matter of fact, of succeeding in releasing funds that are going to be negatory. I have just said here that the Minister of Health has been spending money
and it even carried out renovations in those areas where they are working from. Now, is the Honourable Minister in order not to respond to issues I'm saying, but he goes on to tell us about the staff of Nambole, who are not even professionals in treatment and medicine or doctors. They are people, staffs of Nambole are those who clean, wash, and slash grass at the stadium. So is he in order to come here and tell us that they are going to spend money on the staff of Nambole, not the purpose of the money that we are contesting? Is he in order, Madam Speaker? Well knowing that I've told him that the Minister of Health has already spent money and is spending money on Nambole from the date they began utilizing that facility. Is he in order, Madam Speaker?
Honourable Minister, I'm not privy to all that information. How has the facility been run since they took it? How has the facility at Nambole been used since they started? They are saying that the health minister has fully taken over.
So, Madam Speaker, from the Minister of Finance, we are not aware of any. We are not aware of any duplicated costs. The money that the Minister of Nambole requested for is to help them to pay costs of running Nambole, because Madam Speaker, they are supposed to be using these resources from the money they collect from the activities of the stadium. But because Minister of Health took over Nambole, they cannot get money out of this. And it is because of this that they have been able, but the Minister of Sports can add more light to this, but I am not aware, Madam Speaker, of any duplication of costs, at least from the information that we have got.
Okay, Honourable Minister, I think the problem of the Public Accounts Committee of this House is that they have not seen any income out of Nambole all the years that has been there. And they are aware that activities have been going on. That's what they are saying. Where has the money gone?
And Madam Speaker.
That's why, Madam Speaker, the Minister of Sports is here to give more information, and he has abundant information regarding this issue, if you can be allowed.
Right, Honourable Speaker, let him also give information, because I'm even the Committee of Education, which takes control of that same place. Madam Speaker, and the Honourable Minister, Honourable Bahati, let us not hide our heads in the sand by telling lies. When the Minister of Health took over Nambole facility, particularly for the treatment of its people, it went into the field, not in the parking where the pioneer buses are living, in the hotel managed by Mukula, plus the land and the sewage management area. They are particularly in that playground where they placed their tents to take care of people. Now, don't tell us that Nambole, the Minister of Health is getting money to repair the seats of Nambole, where Honourable Sempija and Honourable Semungu sit to watch football during the African Cup of Nations. That is not true. You are interested in that particular area where you are carrying out the treatment and other activities. So let us not meander by telling misleading information. Minister of Health is in a better position to tell us about that money other than Minister of Sports and Education, because they spent already money on Nambole. We are saving you, Honourable Bahati. You should be even able to tell us that you have released this amount of money to Minister of Health, because they could not have taken up possession of that place before them getting money. They couldn't. What have they been using? That's what the Speaker is asking. So when you are telling misleading information, don't take us as nursery kids that we are like those children where they have closed their studying forever in Uganda. We take research and find out what is taking place. Thank you.
Now, I would invite the Minister for Lands, as the Minister for Sports prepares, but Minister of Finance, I'm not satisfied with your answer that you are confident that the tobacco companies will pay. It is because of pressure from this House that the government has now moved to support the farmers. So I'm not sure that those people are going to pay our money. You need to convince us. Minister of Lands.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And Right Honourable Speaker, may I please first register my belated congratulations to you for your resounding success, and also to members of both houses who made it back. And for the casualties like myself, there is life after Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, I'd also like to thank the Chairman of the Committee of Budget for presenting.
The Attorney General of Uganda. My lords, the parties are as we were before, and the court had retired to consider their decision.
I'm sure the Attorney General means the presentation is as before.
The presentations are as before, my lord. And my lord, the court had retired to consider its decision, and we are ready to receive it.
Thank you.
I thank you, my lords.
The decision of court will be read out by Lady Justice Stella Arach Amok. My lord.
Thank you, my lord, Chief Justice. This is the ruling of the court. We have perused the application, the replies by the respondents, and consider the submissions of counsel for the parties. Our court finds that the matters raised in the proposed amendment pertaining to non-compliance with the laws and the alleged commission of electoral offences are already pleaded in the petition. What remains is for the petitioner to adduce evidence in proof of those matters. However,